Welcome. Just just not ASMR, but just us making
like really bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions.
This is Zoo, the show, the podcast. It's the podcast where every week I ask myself, why isn't Zoo, the show, just scored by Guns N' Roses? I'm Joey Zavilla.
I'm Dallas.
Just Dallas.
Yeah.
I want Welcome to the Jungle is what I'm saying. I want every song to be Welcome to the Jungle in different tones.
Like these animals are going crazy. Welcome to the jungle!
Yeah, I want the opening to a CSI, but when he puts on the shades, it's just like, oh, welcome to the jungle, baby!
You're gonna die!
Well, we need animal sunglasses first.
Who are you?
Wait, what?
Well, we need...
Who are you? And what are you talking about?
I got thrown off because I was like...
Who's this third person in the podcast?
I'm William. I'm saying that we need essential animal character sunglasses to push them down and Welcome to the Jungle starts.
And we also need essential oils to cure all of our ills.
What sort of talking animal would we add to the show?
Oh, man.
If you had the opportunity, to be on their team. They meet him and he's I like humans. He's Meowth character.
The dog. The guy's daughter's
Mitch's dog, yeah. Golden Retriever.
So
Pretty obvious. Yeah. I think that's the good choice.
Yeah, honestly, I just don't want...
Obvious but good choice.
I don't want the girl to die now because she's an integral part of the pivot in where the show's quality took off.
Mm-hmm. We watched episode 8. The best episode, I think, so far. Yeah. Unfortunately, the title is The Cheese Stands Alone.
Ooh, and what I just realized is unlike last one where we were confused, this one, there's no resolution.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's just nonsense.
It's just because there are rats in there, and somebody was like, what's a phrase that has cheese or rats in it?
Yeah.
And has never been a thing. The cheese is loose? Are we getting some OJ vibes on that?
Cut the cheese. Okay. Cut the cheese, maybe. No bad ideas, guys. Just throw them all out here. The episode starts in Paris. Very short episode. Very short scene where Chloe's talking to their boss. I don't know what to refer to him as. The guy who
organized them.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And he's talking about there was a boat heading over to Boston.
It was headed to Maine, but it had to stop in Boston.
Right. Okay.
Around Boston.
Yeah, I think that's where the boat took off.
The crew stopped talking to people. They were attacked or something. And then it's nobody knows what it was, but we know what it was. It was rats. It was
it was thousands and thousands of rats doing a. Oh man, the scene was so great. Doing a kind of Pirates of the Caribbean skeleton walk towards shore.
It was great because they talked about the rats are on board, and then it cuts to a scene of a fisherman who we later learn is named Billy T.
And it's just...
And he's staring out at the ocean, and you just see, a D-Day, just swarm of rats. Lots of rats, and they did a real good job with the animals in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Comparatively. Yes. I feel like it felt like I was watching rats a lot. It felt good. Yeah. It was solid.
Yeah, it felt like what the show's advertising, basically.
Yeah.
Unlike the rest of the episodes where the center is only around the actual animals for 5-10-ish minutes.
There were a lot of rats in this episode.
And it was amazing. It was scary, actually.
It was good.
It was suspenseful. It built up. They're really progressing as not filmmakers. Filmmakers?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think it's just it was a strong episode, but we got to remember there have been strong episodes that have been disappointed us the next episode too.
Yeah,
so we don't know that it's
That's true.
The graph is not a straight line upwards.
We have had 2 good ones in a row, I feel like.
Yeah, the last one was good.
It could let us down.
Could always let us down. And probably at some point will.
At some point. They're going to do some Jamie, was that the lady?
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna do some Jamie-centered episodes, and then it's gonna completely lose me. She's still just so boring in this one.
Yeah, I mean, like, she isn't in this one that much, though, also. Like, I mean, she
Yeah.
is in it, but she's not a central, like, pivot point for this episode.
Yeah.
So the whole squad goes to Boston, and they're, like, on a dock, and they're talking about if they're going to figure out what's happening with the rats, they need to get both a male and a female rat to figure out something. I'm not quite
What the
sure.
hell is going on?
Yeah, I think to study their breeding habits or something.
We need.
Yeah.
And this is all instructed by, God, I'm so bad with names. We
Mitch?
just watched it. Mitch.
Yeah.
It's all instructed by Mitch, but immediately Mitch just takes off.
Mitch,
He is not in contact with any of them.
possibly
for the, rest of the,
the
episode.
most important person on the squad
Yeah.
in terms of animal study.
Like, as far
Oh,
as,
yeah,
like,
100%.
being able to actually do something about the problem.
Yeah.
Just fucks off for reasons that we know, but nobody. What did he tell them? Did he tell them something?
I don't remember.
I don't like. It seemed like we were on the
Must
dock
have.
with everybody, and then he was just like, I gotta tie my shoe, and
I gotta go out for some smokes.
I'll be right back, which is what he said last time when he left his daughter.
Yeah.
So everybody's on a boat. They're talking about, except Mitch now. Mitch is gone. Everybody else is on a boat going over to this island where the rats have swum to. And and they're talking about how, wow, there sure were a lot of rats on that boat. Maybe Raiden's special chemical is actually making them mad horny. Maybe
Yeah.
these rats are fucking like crazy.
And that was one of the parts about the intro scene, was like they talked about how the ship itself was transporting just an absolute monstrous load.
Yeah, Raiden brand wheat.
Yeah.
Which, like, I know it was put in there so that, like, because otherwise some pedant would be like, but how did the rats get medicine or whatever fucking
Yeah.
shit? But, like, you didn't need to. I trust you. Like,
Yeah.
all animals have some sort of access to it. How did wild lions, like, get access to it? I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah, really, man. Like,
you know, like,
it started in the middle of nowhere, the most middle of nowhere place you can get. Like,
so they're all very worried about the fact that, like, lots of animals are, like, probably going to start having a lot more sex, and
family
Jackson
values.
Oz has puritanical worldviews. And they're very worried about, like, a horde of lions, which, like, not how... Pretty sure that you still have a gestation period, but maybe they're implying that there won't be, like... Because don't, like, larger animals, isn't it just, like, usually longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes them longer to develop. So
Isn't-
I don't think so much that as much as, like, they're just gonna have sex more. Because that would actually be worse, to just have, like, because, like, a few months go by and then just out of nowhere this wave of newborn lions overtakes the world.
I think it's like, mostly they're worried about, like, is this going to positively or negatively affect the tourism industry of Africa? Because you're just going to go over there and it's only going to be lions fucking. Like, anytime you see a lion, they're all going to be having sex.
that
Well,
would,
you'd see them.
and that would tap into
Yeah.
an untapped into market
Yeah.
of tourists.
That's what I'm saying. Either it's going to make things worse because people can't take their family, or it's going to make things much better because some people don't want to take their family.
Yeah. They go on vacations to relax from everyday life.
Yeah, they talk about they're gonna go on a rat hunt, and talk about, and Jackson's like, rats crave human blood after they've tasted it, which is a true fact about rats.
I've learned so many. I have a pet rat, and she's super sweet, and she gives me, like, love nibbles all the time.
Have you considered giving her some of your blood?
I have now, like, accidentally, if she, like, nibbles me a little too hard, and then all of a sudden she's a monster. So
and then all of a sudden you look over at that cage and the rat sort of got its eyes open a little bit bigger.
it's like, oh, it's my
I've
just
been waiting.
experience.
It's rubbing its hands together.
Oh God, they do that. It's so cute. But this episode made me not like rats as much.
We also learned in this scene, Jackson Oz vacationed at this island, which, I mean, I can't, like, I don't remember where he was like growing up or anything like that.
I don't
But
either.
I guess just East Coast is fine.
Yeah.
So he's forlorn about that a little bit, and then cut away to Mitch and his adventure. He's visiting his daughter, which has a sick burn in the scene.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah, so good.
It's so good. He's playing with the dog and he's like, "Hey, has this dog tried to like murder our daughter or anything? Like, is this dog actually evil?" And the mom's like, "What? No. Why? Why are you asking specifically that? That's weird." And he's like, "I don't know. Don't worry about it. I can't tell you for a reason."
Yeah. For not really any reason. It's not like she'd believe him.
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
But at the
Maybe
same
that's the
time,
reason
she'd
why.
be like, well, he's crazy. I'm not
Yeah.
letting my daughter around him.
Yeah, that's possible. And then his daughter comes downstairs and says hi, and the mom is like, "Look, honey, Charlie. Is it Charlie the dog? I don't know.
Charlie. He's Charlie now.
Charlie remembers Mitch," and the daughter's like, "That's great, cause I don't." It's such a sick burn, and she set her up for it so well. I sort of feel like
they planned it.
they were like your father's coming over today. How what move do you think we take? There's just it's that thing of like TV shows, and it was the same with the guy with the bat, where it's like they must have thought about this ahead of time. There's no way. They have a meeting, and then I think that's it for that scene. They're gonna go hang out, him and his daughter, but not a whole lot happens other than the fact that everyone's like remember how Mitch is a piece of shit, and Mitch is like, I guess I am a piece of shit. This is the most humble Mitch has been, the most
yes,
That's true.
if that's the right word, or the most reasonable he's been thus far.
It really is. Because
faced with any other sort of any other character who says anything to him, he's like, ugh, fuck, God. He's sort of been cowed a little bit. Cut back over to the island, the name of which I forgot, should have written it down. Pender Island. Oz and Chloe go and meet Sheriff Becky, who
Sheriff Becky.
Jackson Oz was dating as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it was his first love.
First love, which she says, she's the one who says that. She's like, I was his first love, but don't worry, we were 12, which is definitely a cool thing to say to someone who she definitely thought they were dating.
Yeah.
She just assumed that, which is also what the writers want us to just assume, is that they're going to end up dating, I guess. Because there's no reason for that to happen, but I can feel the show, rocketing towards them having a relationship.
I felt like either that or she was going to die. It was just trying to build up, some red shirts. Because, even every time, the daughter's house is shown and the dog's there, it's just this lingering reminder that at any point it's like the first episode where it just showed a bunch of cats watching children. Yeah.
Which still hasn't come to fruition. I'm still waiting for the episode where they're just walking down a suburban street and then they just hear from all the houses as one. And, people start crashing through windows with hair on the.
Oh man. It's such a great show. I really turned it.
It's a great episode. It's so fun. It's such a fun this episode was. That's the thing is this show is really good when it just leans into the the weird politics of their situation and the funny the campy almost
it's very campy.
The animal horror
sci-fi kind of shit. The more crazy they go, I think the better the show's gonna get. So they're talking to Officer Becky. She's like, "Oh, Billy T, the fisherman, saw a bunch of rats swimming from the ship. He's full of shit."
You can't trust Billy T.
Billy T is fucking crazy.
He's a drunk. So.
We all know fucking Billy T. He's wild. And they're like, "What do you think?" Because we saw a shot of the boat, and it is just a bunch of guys covered in rat bites, dead on the ground. And they're like, "What do you think it is?" And she's like, "Carbon monoxide." And we all laughed, but then she was like, "And then the rats ate them." And I was like, okay, That makes some sort of sense. Although wouldn't you be able to tell, like, when
You would.
there be evidence of a carbon monoxide leak?
Yes. You would be able to tell, if carbon monoxide was the cause of death, which it wouldn't have been. Like,
Like, did the rats cause a carbon monoxide leak before they left to cover their...
I don't think...
But if there was a carbon monoxide leak, the rats are so small that
They
they would have
died
died, like, immediately.
Well, also, were they all in one room to, like, have it encamped enough?
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's a boat.
Close
like,
enough.
It's just...
I thought they were out in the open when some guys were
yeah, there was
Yeah.
people all over the place. I don't... Yeah.
Although this is kind of still evidence, like... Oh, man, I'm just realizing... So, like, they were at the point where all this crazy shit, they were like, oh... Well, there's got to be a reason other than animals.
Yeah.
And they were, like, the ones who knew that animals were, like, changing and stuff. So I guess it makes sense that normal people would be like, well, there's not just an army of thousands and thousands of, like...
Rats, like...
warrior rats.
Yeah, I mean, I am sad that this wasn't, like, a red wall, kind of. Like, I wish the rats had armor and swords.
Yeah, if they would have got, like, the bear's endoskeleton.
Oh, my God. If only. The
Like
endoskeleton.
Their teeth just hardened beyond metal.
I mean, I guess they chose endoskeleton because they didn't have to, like, animate, like, an exoskeleton.
That would have been sick, though.
It would have been.
Also, I hope we get to that point. Like, oh, man, wouldn't it be great if there's, like, the tipping point where, like, the animals start to, like, obviously take over, and so all the people in the world are like, what are we gonna do? But then there's this group of, like, 6 desperado types who have to save the world from these animals. Season 2, I hope, is that.
Yeah, I do hope there's some sort of big turn at the end of the season where it changes how the show is, like, progressing, or at least, like, accelerates it. I think at least season 3, it should be all broken down by that point, like, fully. Like, it should be like they're in, like, a walled off compound and trying to, like, survive. Real brief cut to Abraham and Jamie, who are sitting on the dock, and she's like, I want to go into town and meet Officer Becky, and Abraham's like, you killed a man, you shouldn't meet any police officers, even though it was in a different city, and apparently no one's looking for her, or, like...
Yeah, she got her identity changed, too. So.
Yeah, and, like, no one knows it was her, and it's just a small town police officer, so even if, like, she would, like, she'd probably be fine. But she's like...
Yeah, but Abraham doesn't take small chances.
No, Abraham, you know.
He's the consummate
He's
Yeah.
professional.
Yes.
Cut back. Oz is like, we have to evacuate the island, and Officer Becky's like, no, this is Jaws.
Yeah, like the entire time that scene was going on, I'm like,
I thought the whole thing was
just Jaws.
I thought the whole thing was gonna be Jaws. I really thought we were gonna get, like, a scene of doing the Jaws, like, from underneath and just a bunch
Smile,
of rats,
you
like,
sons of a bitch.
but not really. This was the only scene where it was very strongly evoking Jaws that one scene. And, like, the whole premise up until that point, which is an island where, you know, it's Amity Island. Cut to this pest control guy who's talking to somebody on the phone about what a crazy and wild guy he is.
And you can tell because he's got sideburns.
Yeah, he's really
for
like,
days.
I've been called a lot of things, but I've never been called boring. He takes a sip out of his I Hate Mondays coffee cup, and that's the, like, sort of energy he's giving.
It's like Monster Energy drink.
Yeah. And then he's like, imagine me. He does a thing. He's like, imagine me whipping out this thing and taking out a wasp nest, and shoots his flamethrower into the... It's in the air, but he's in a hallway, so he's just shooting it at the roof of this building.
Yeah. And also, he has a flamethrower. Yeah. Like, why does this pest control... Is that something I just don't know about the industry?
It's not. I don't think so. He has a flamethrower. Also, he says, imagine me with one of these things, and then he does the thing, but he's talking to someone on his earpiece. They can't see what he's doing.
It sounds so cool. And he must have been talking to a Tinder date.
I'm gonna see you later, baby.
Yeah.
And then he sees a rat. He sees the one rat. This is sort of, it's just like that dog that drew people. This is the one rat that pulls him in. And he like, oh, I'm going to kill this rat with this singular rat with this flamethrower. This seems like the best way to accomplish this.
Well, I just actually Googled,
Oh,
do
God.
pest control use flamethrowers? And my phone immediately died before I could read anything. So,
It's agent information secret.
just letting anyone who listens to this know we may not be here.
Yeah. If there's not a next episode that comes out, no, it's the pest
government.
control that's come for us.
It's the pest control lobbyists who are in charge of our government.
He follows these rats in, and this is really where the episode kicks off, I think, in a big way.
Yeah.
He climbs up this ladder. He hears like the rats up above him, and he's like, I'm gonna stick my head through that hole in the ceiling.
God.
He puts out this ladder. He climbs up it. He looks around. He sees the rat at head level, which already, a rat at head level is so scary to me as a concept.
Because you can't reach it or anything.
Yeah,
It can come at you, no problem. And he's just like, hey, I got you. Like, you
I
got
see
what?
you. And then you see his face. It changes. Great acting. Great acting.
Yeah, that was actually good.
And then a horde of rats just running out of the light. And like I assume it's mostly CGI. I guess there's probably some scenes with real rats in this episode.
There's a few.
But I'm guessing it's mostly CGI, but it really looks great. The whole
the whole episode looks really, really
I think
good.
it's just because it's all in shadows and stuff. But it looks surprisingly good. Like, a lot of times when stuff is in shadows, I'm like, oh, it's so dark, I can't see it. But it's real good.
Well, that's the thing, too, is that they really, it seems like they're leaning toward that, too. Because even with the bear stuff, in the last episode, it was kind of dark. And, like, that's really when you can do kind of realistic-looking stuff.
Yeah.
Because you don't see the flaws in the details. Like Predator, the first Predator movie. That's just a guy in a Halloween costume. Like, this could have just been a bunch of guys in rat costumes. And they looked really good.
And they're so good at running on all fours.
Yeah, they're all Planet of the Apes level.
Then we cut to Oz. Jackson Oz, Abraham, Chloe, and Jamie, the whole squad except for Mitch, are all together, and Abraham is breaking into this hotel.
This guy was just murdered by rats.
Yeah. That scene transition is real weird. It's weird that they didn't do like the Mitch thing between just to give us a little space, because the sort of, in my mind, it's like, oh, this just happened in here. And they're like,
like there's no time elapsed.
But they get in, they're setting traps everywhere, and that's it. They're in this house. We see some rats in the foreground, but they don't. They're setting traps everywhere.
And they do a very confusing thing now that I think about it. So the title's name is The Cheese is Loose, right?
The cheese stands alone.
The cheese stands alone. My bad. I was thinking OJ. But, and even in the traps that they set,
no cheese.
No cheese. He's using peanut butter, which is actually more effective. Mm-hmm. Like rats and mice like peanut butter more than cheese. So where does the cheese stands alone come in?
Well, I think we'll get around to it. I think it's in the sandwiches later.
Oh.
I think that's the only reference to cheese in the episode.
Yeah, that's like and that is
not what the episode is built around.
It's nonsense.
We're getting there because we cut back to Mitch and his daughter, and they're just hanging at the park.
Not doing anything, sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
With that awesome dog. Like, that dog is so well behaved.
It is a very chill dog.
I really hope that dog doesn't take the turn that we think it's going to take.
I mean, the turn that I'm picturing it's going to take is it's going to start talking. It's going to have a thick New York accent.
Yeah. Like, what do you think? What do you think, Charlie? I don't know nothing. I'm just a dog. I only know pizza and a lick of my balls. What do you want from me?
Let's see here. They're hanging at the park. Mitch is like, I have a gift for you. Which I wouldn't call this a gift so much as something he wants to show her. He's like showing her because he hands her a parking ticket. And even she in the episode is like, I would have I'd play with dolls.
Yeah,
Like I'm not
like,
I'm not
needed,
too
like, a
old
slip
for
of
this.
paper.
Like I thought he was giving her a gift card at first. I really thought like
But for some reason, I thought it was gonna be like a prescription for that medicine he's trying to get her.
right. That would be weird though,
That
right?
would
Like
be very weird.
to call that a gift is sort of strange.
like the gift of life. I gave it to you. Never forget.
Also, she probably wouldn't see it as like it would just be like, oh, another shit I have to like take to try and fix this thing that's not gonna like.
When she even refers to herself as the dead girl.
Yeah. He hands her the parking ticket. He's like, you know what this is from? It's from 10 years ago on the night you were born. Your mom had to get taken to the hospital by her neighbor because I was too busy with ducks. This is true. I'm not making a joke. He was too busy at the duck sanctuary.
And there was traffic.
And he was almost late to her birth, but he made it only by parking illegally. And this is so it's a symbol of his love in the form of a parking ticket. And she's like, cool.
Like, how about you just
Give me a
didn't
bar.
take off for 10 years?
Mm-hmm. Well, you make me seem sleepy.
I'm very sleepy. Hold on.
Oh, I am too, man. Watching these are such like high energy episodes.
We got very excited.
It's a task watching them.
We cheered when the rats were running at that man.
Yeah,
We
so
cheered
good.
at every part where the rats
Yeah.
were like doing rat stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was great.
We cheered sometimes when people were just suggesting that rats were gonna do rat stuff
Yeah,
later.
yeah. And then it's like, oh, they're gonna do that rat stuff they were talking about. But then it's like not rat stuff, it's just super rat stuff. So that's better. So
We cut to New York, and there's an old man out on a
yeah.
date. There's an old man out on a date, and
throwing off red flags.
he's like, you know, some people will do this thing where they will they'll have their friend call them however long into a date. That way, if it's going badly, they can pretend that there's been a like an accident or emergency or something, and they can get out of the date. And he's like, I know this happens because it's happened to me 3 times, which is not a great thing to hear from the guy you're on a date with.
And then immediately it happens, and he's like, "You gonna pick that up?" She's like,
no. And then it cuts away. And as far as we know, this is just they've just decided, oh, let's do an older romance off to the side. There's no relevance to the story so far. But
we
it's
were so wrong.
So I guess we're back to sort of that classic. It's sort of its own little what's the word we were using? The little vignettes.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like, but it's a little more connected than some of the other ones.
It's no longer like nothing to do with anything.
It's got something to do with something.
Yeah.
Although not like the vignette itself, the story of it isn't really relevant, and then it's the character is just relevant.
Yeah.
So. He's on that nice date, so that's great. Cut back to Jamie and Abraham are... Oh my...
Well, we're one down. So.
Oh my god. I can't believe this really just happened.
See, we're innovators. This is what we do. We take a concept and flip it on its head.
This is the first ever time a person has fallen asleep in the middle of a podcast. I don't know what to do.
We'll just keep on trucking.
I guess so. I'm blown away by this. I'm so distracted by this now.
He's gonna have like terrible rat dreams.
Yes, this is very funny to me. We've lost William. He was going for a while there, but he's actually. I could never fall asleep with people talking right next to me. But congratulations. Shit.
It's been a busy week for everyone.
I'm gonna like the description for this episode is gonna be like it will help you fall asleep.
Yeah,
like this is
it's
listen
like
to this
ASMR.
one late at night, even though we're like screaming and screeching and stuff.
This is definitely we gotta label it as ASMR.
Oh
as
my
well.
god! Oh shit!
Podcast slash.
So in this episode of Zoo, Chloe, Jamie, and Abraham are talking. They're trying to turn on the lights in the house, and she's like, "I want to catch Raiden," and he's like, "But what are you gonna do after you catch Raiden?"
Yeah.
And then he tells the whole story about how he and his brother were trying to find like a rare breed of deer, and then they found it, and it wasn't as great as they thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. Oh God, I love Abraham's character.
Mm-hmm.
He just reminds me of like a samurai.
He's just like, "Let me tell you an old story about my past, and it will be relevant to you."
Yeah, it will always be relevant.
Also, it'll always sort of put me a bit above you on the like.
Yeah.
It's always kind of like, look
Like,
at what I did when I was a boy.
Yeah, like A, I'm a better person than you. B, I've done more than you'll ever do.
I've suffered more than you.
Yeah, like, and it's so weird too, because like this one is talking about when he was a young boy, and like I thought when he was a young boy, he was kidnapped by rebels, which that's also part of his story. But I guess his family must have been pretty well off, because supposedly this is before he was a rebel, before his like parents were killed or whatever.
Yeah, we have to
And
assume.
he also found it in some other country when he was a child, so his parents must have also been like adventurer types. So it's all very strange.
Yeah.
But he needs a spin-off.
Yeah. Just the Abraham show.
Yeah.
Um.
Leave it to Abraham.
So.
But yeah, I love the little like, oh, revenge isn't that great.
I don't know if they can hear this in the podcast, but William snores, and that's fun to know.
Yeah. We'll just edit it in a special way.
No, I mean I'm gonna
edit it out.
I'm gonna make it louder if possible.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'll get a recording of him doing it, and I'll just cut it over.
Yeah, just loop it.
So cut back to Chloe and Oz. The lights come on, and then they hear just like what sounds like an army of rats, which is what it is, crawling around in the walls.
And they even like know. It's like, oh, that sounds like hundreds of rats. And at that, I'd be like, we should leave.
Mm-hmm. They also,
and then they're like, but it might be thousands of rats. Yeah, it's probably thousands of rats.
And they hear the chattering of teeth. They call it something, I forget. I didn't write it down. But it's a specific thing. Let me just steal his notes. Let's see here. Oh, his notes are...
Bracking?
His notes are impossible to control. Like, this is nothing. Oh, wait, yes it is. There it is.
Bruxing. Which is teeth sharpening.
Yeah, so they're sharpening their teeth. They're doing like the whole like thing, and then let's see. It's like 2-word notes for everything.
It's genius. He's got a master's degree.
He does. And look at him now.
Who the real successes are.
Yeah. One of us in this room is sleeping.
And also...
Look at this multitasking. There are 3 people in this room making a podcast, but only one of them's getting their 8 hours in at the same time.
Exactly. So Bruxing, teeth sharpening.
They
already know that these rats are getting ready to maul them.
Yeah, the rats are essentially screaming, "We're gonna kill you! We're going to kill you!"
Yeah. God, it was so...
It was creepy.
It's so suspenseful. Like, it really was. And it's like that old, in the hokey horror movies where you're just like, get out!
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think rats are one of maybe the scariest type of animal I can imagine that they've done. Like,
yeah.
Because a bear, I just think I will not engage the bear. I just won't put myself in that situation.
Yeah, like I'll get in a car and I'll drive away and there won't be any more bears.
But rats, I'm just like, well, then there are going to be rats in my trunk.
Yeah, there are rats everywhere.
I
could go to Antarctica. There won't be a grizzly bear. There might be polar bears. But we've killed them all already, almost.
Basically.
But there's still going to be rats. Rats are survivors.
They've caught a rat. It's a male rat.
Mm-hmm.
They are like, now we just have to get a female rat. And then they like, now it's just over top. Much like William snoring is over top of this whole podcast. the rats are now just like a constant background noise in the show.
Yeah. Which added so much.
It was very creepy.
Like, this was such a good episode. I hated this show. I hated it. I hated doing the podcast. I'm like, well, this is gonna be awful. But let's get it done.
This is our life for 39 episodes.
We got 39 sessions to get through. Let's do it. But now it's like, oh man, I have to stop myself from watching it alone.
Right? Yeah. I absolutely. I had the thought after watching this one that I could watch another one of these.
Yes.
We cut back to Mitch and the daughter. They talk for a little bit. Not a whole lot happens. That he's like Justin seems like a cool guy. That's her stepdad, and she's like, yeah, Justin's cool, but I don't call him dad. And it's like, okay. He's like,
yeah, which that's like this whole storyline with him and his daughter and stuff. Again, like I don't know why they chose to do good dialogue and stuff for that, and like nothing else beforehand. But like that's a really real thing that people deal with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've tried to focus on. I think it's just because this has had time to gestate. And stuff, and
it's like really developed. Okay, oh my. Dead girl.
Yeah, she calls herself a dead girl, and he's like, you shouldn't call yourself that. And then
she's like, that's what all the other kids call me. Like, who are these kids you're hanging
That's
out with?
brutal. And also, who told these kids that you're dying? Was it you?
Yeah, and like, which one of these kids was an asshole enough to tell this girl that, oh yeah, everyone calls you that.
Dead girl. You know.
Because you're dead.
You're fucking dead. To me,
because you have
dead.
No future.
You're gonna be fucking dead. So cut back to the date. They're having a nice walk through the park. The old man gets a phone call and he's like, oh, one of my colleagues has vanished. We call him number 12.
Because he's real handsome.
Yeah, like a football player?
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think that's why they call him that, and I would not believe that if someone...
Yeah. But I was like, this guy seems skeezy. He's got to have something to do with something.
Yeah.
So I'm immediately thinking the FBI dude they killed.
Right. I was thinking either FBI or Leo, the like scientist who escaped Raiden.
Yeah. I thought that
possibly.
Too, but I'm like,
but he's not that. He wasn't that handsome.
Yeah. The guy had like a sinister air around like the stuff he was saying.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe a spy or some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then the horse and carriage.
Yeah, he's like, first he's like, well, number 12 was like my son, and she's like, I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah.
He's disappeared. What is your line of work, anyways?
Yeah.
Why do people who work for you?
Why did you use the term vanish? Like rather than like probably just took a couple sick days, like a normal human being.
And then this guy who's been in a couple cutaway shots. There's like a old timey and I'm sure these are around New York, but it's like an old timey dude in a top hat with a horse and carriage who's like, care for a carriage ride? I mean, maybe I'm just projecting that. I'm sure he was like, care for a carriage ride, but in my head he's like, hello.
Yeah, he had like a long, like one of the cigarette pipe things.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that horse. I was expecting something worse to go wrong with the horse because I don't think it's a spoiler at this point to assume that every time there's a large animal and it's being used as a tool by a human, it's gonna freak out.
Yeah. Well, even when when they're walking over to the carriage, they're like, sure. Like, which, by the way, never ever would happen. Like, I guess if you're extravagantly wealthy, you might just be like, whatever, fuck it. But those kind of things cost, like, a ton of money.
Yeah.
They're just walking over this horse and carriage, and the horse is like,
yeah, the horse is already
it's like, I'm gonna kill you.
Like, oh, I got the extra passengers I was waiting on. Now let's do this.
Cut back, real brief, cut back to the four all in the upstairs at the of the hotel infested with rats. And they're
this was the best part of the entire
They're
show.
In the hallway and they hear ding ding, the elevator's coming up. And they're like, oh, it must be Becky, the police officer.
Yeah, because they had called her.
They've called her. They're like, we have to evacuate. You need to get over here. She's like, I'll stop by the place and I'll be right over. And they're like, oh, that must be Becky. And then
And I can't explain the feeling that overcame the room.
the
The electricity.
We all knew it wasn't Becky.
Yeah, we all knew what was going to happen. We're like, no. No.
Surely not.
And
like, I was picturing, because the elevator comes up full of rats.
Yeah.
But I was picturing, oh, it's going to be a bunch of rats down at the bottom. No,
it was... I don't know how physically it was possible that they did this, but it opens and it was like The Shining, and a river of rats from the ceiling starts spilling out of this elevator into the hallway. And Chloe, just absolute idiot, just first door she sees, like regular door in this old building. There's going to be cracks that they can get through for sure. She just opens the door, closes it behind her. The rest of them, more intelligently, like, run a few steps back and behind a steel fire door and just close it. And, like...
To be fair, real sense of panic on the show and in the room.
Yeah.
Because both us and them were kind of like, no. Yeah,
I can't, you know, I can't blame her too much. But it just felt like a classic, like, horror movie move.
Right. Well, I mean, the correct move is run back the way you came, down the steps, and out the house.
Yeah, and leave forever.
Yeah.
But
get in your car and go.
And then just...
and then bomb the house from, like...
Yeah, burn the house down. Because they already know what's happening. It's not... Like, they're still at this very weird point, like we've said, where they're kind of in denial about whatever. Like, they know what it is. They don't need to capture these things to understand what's going on.
Right.
Like, it's the stuff.
Or if they do need to capture them, then, like, they can... If we're at the point where it's like, we know that this is happening, we know this is going to be a major problem, they aren't working on a solution, really. They're solving weekly problems. Like, they're solving the problem of that day. They're not, like, really coming up with, like, a solution.
Yeah.
Because the obvious solution to this one is just, like, fucking come in with a squad and just, like, gas this fucking...
Yeah, just torch them.
Like, destroy it. And, but, like, you know, horror movie, like, you want it to be a horror movie, like, thing.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Great,
like, this episode was a wild ride.
We cut back to the date. They're in their horse-drawn carriage. They're chatting bullshit.
Horse freaks out.
The horse freaks out. The guy who owns the horse is like, Gypsy. And we're like, oh, I don't know if you should name your horse Gypsy. That seems... I'm not sure about that one.
And then, like, just to... You know, we were already like, oh, this guy named his horse Gypsy? What a piece of shit. He jumps out of the carriage and leaves these two in the back of it. He doesn't even say,
we gotta get out. Like,
yeah,
we have to... because I think at least I would be like, we're gonna have to jump. And then I would, like, roll off.
But this guy just jumps.
And you can sort of hear as he's going, later! The horse is freaking out. It's just sprinting through the park. He jumps off. Him and his date jump off and do a roll, and the horse just goes into, like, this patio, like, food truck patio,
and
situation.
Like, tackles a food truck,
and, like, the cart like smashes into shit, and, like, it was great. It was incredible.
God. Such a good episode.
Then we cut back to Mitch. It's nighttime now. He's putting his daughter in bed, and he's, like, helping her in, which... very strange. Like, he's, like, lifting her legs up. She's 10, and I know she's sick, but it doesn't seem like she has any, like, regular,
like, energy deficiencies. Or
whatever. I'm not sure what was... maybe it was just, you know, weird choice.
It was just, like, a bonding sort of thing.
But she was like, that was a good day. That was a good day. And I, like, we were all just sitting here, like, you guys went to the park and sat on a bench. He showed up. He had no plans.
Yeah.
He took you to the park. You sat on a bench. You ate sandwiches, which we sort of skipped over. But they ate sandwiches and were like, your mom's cooking fucking trash.
Yeah, they just shit-talked her mom's cooking.
And then he gave her a parking ticket, and then they presumably just came home.
Yeah. This is super weird.
Very weird. She's like, that was great. You should come by more often. And she calls him Professor. And
then the mom freaks out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, no, that's next. That's after.
Oh, is that after a brief pause?
Yeah, we go back to the hotel, and they come out of the fire escape door, which I just assumed they were trapped in there.
Yeah.
But they come out and the rats have all just gone.
Yeah, and I'm honestly thinking that, like, on some level it makes sense because these rats are intelligent and they're like, oh, we'll
Go away and then they'll come out.
we'll look for other angles to get this problem taken care of.
And they're walking along, and then the bag, because Abraham has put the rat they caught in a bag to like a bag, the kind of bag that's like made for that.
Yeah.
And it starts like freaking out more, and he looks inside, and it's full of baby rats. And they're like, "What the fuck? We thought this rat was a male rat.
It is a male.
It is a male rat. It had a bunch of fucking babies, which I don't know how that's like."
Oh god!
Just physically, what's going on down? Like I don't know
all
how rats.
Males.
Yeah, they're all males, and they're like it's reproducing asexually, and it's just so fun when this thing goes into mutations and shit. It's really like brought.
It's really like kind of just impossible things happening very quickly.
Yeah.
Like. And there, again, although the shock factor, it's so hard to do something like this and make it not kind of annoying because we've been seeing it over and over again and we're like, guys, you know what this is, because they're all like, what's going on? Like, you had telepathic lions. Telepathy is impossible for everything. Like telepathy's not even a thing that happens in nature, and you had it happen. Like, this is not that weird. It's unfortunate, very inconvenient for the human race, but it's not that out there.
Not anymore.
You've seen. Yeah. You've had bears with, like, body armor.
If this was, like, the first episode, it would be like, whoa.
That would be a super strong start. They should.
It would be a crazy start. So they're like in the hallways. They're like, we have to find Chloe. Chloe's disappeared as far as we know. Downstairs, Officer Becky has just arrived.
Yeah.
And she's like walking through the halls. She finds the body of the
pest control guy.
Yeah, the pest control guy from
earlier.
For
the first time. Like, I don't know how they didn't immediately
Yeah, he was
him.
Downstairs. I don't know.
He was in like
the
one room away from
right.
the entrance. Yeah.
So she finds him. She checks his ball switches. Which
is hilarious.
He's definitely definitely
eyes are like wide open. He is just white, like covered in bites.
There's like his guts are like. She checks his pulse, and then like it does the thing where it's like, whoa, but it's Chloe has found her, and they're like, we need some sort of weapon to kill these rats, and then they look down, and you're like, oh, the flamethrower from earlier. I see
this
now.
Must be the tutorial level. So then we get the bloodlust at that point. So it takes us us to a wholesome scene.
It does. Mitch's wife is like, I hate you, Mitch, and he's like, call me if the dog ever starts acting weird because I'm doing a thing. And she's like, what the fuck? Why would I ever call you? I hate you.
And he's like, I'm an animal guy. Like, that's what I'm
Which, in fairness,
doing.
His position from his side is very reasonable. His position, his thing from her side is like sort of weird. Like to be like this dog we have, like keep an eye on
it. Because like animals are acting weird.
Yeah, but like the idea of just saying like animals generally are acting weird is a very strange thing.
Yeah.
If I like came by William's house and was like, hey, keep an eye on Kinsey, because I saw a raccoon the other day that was freaking the fuck out.
Yeah. So I mean, on her side, I understand her point of view. So it's not like an unrealistic thing. It's just, again, like an inconvenient thing, because she like kind of freaks out on him.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why did you leave?" or something. Or
she gives a big impassioned speech about like why did you come back now?
Yeah, and like he can't say, "Oh, because the world's ending."
Oh, I mean.
Or like, "Because I found a cure."
Yeah. She's like, "Why did you come back now?" And Mitch doesn't even come up with a lie. He's just.
Yeah, not even like, "Oh, I just better late than never," which.
A fine and like she wouldn't be like, she might not like that answer, but she wouldn't be like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Like, she wouldn't be like, what secret are you hiding? What did the bears do? Cut back to a scene that is essentially just the three looking for Chloe, and then they're like, hey, audience, wouldn't it be really cool if there was a rat queen that was the queen of all the rats? Like, that's all that scene essentially is them being like, oh, these rats are dehydrated. They must be getting their milk from somewhere. And then they, like, barrel the camera. Would you like that?
Would you like that, audience?
And, like, all of us were like, yes, please. I would like to drink up that milk.
So then that's established.
Yeah.
That there's like a rat queen.
And, you
situation.
know, all of us, of course, are doing the traditional chant of rat queen, rat queen.
And we each have... You don't hear something like that and not come up with a picture in your head.
Right. William had the picture of a giant, like, elephant-sized thing.
Yeah, and I was more conservative, and I was like, maybe a small to medium-sized dog.
I was thinking, like, a big dog or, a small bear.
And, I mean... I was kind of right.
I think you were the closest in size terms to correctness. I was also a little bit hoping that it would be big, but it wouldn't be rat-shaped. It would just be like the whole floor of the basement. Rat.
That's what I thought whenever it finally showed it. Because I couldn't make out.
It was just sort of a pile.
Yeah.
So it was hard to pick out.
Yeah. It was, oh God. The visuals in this episode are so... well done.
It's great.
I was so surprised by everything visually.
It's good. It's really fun. It's a fun show. It's just a fun show for fun people. Cut back. There's a really short scene with the old man. He's putting his date into the ambulance because she hurt herself jumping out of the thing, and he gets a phone call, and number 12, which we already sort of guessed, is Schaefer.
Yeah.
And that's basically all that happens is we know now that, like, someone's going to be coming for Jamie.
Yeah, and they have, like, security footage.
Hi, welcome back.
Well, did I fall asleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fully, like...
You're all good.
You're good.
The train's rolling.
We recorded some of you snoring.
We laughed a lot of it. Yeah.
I was just like, I turned to ask you something, and it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We're coming up on the end of the episode.
Yeah, we tried to use your notes for a couple things.
Yeah.
But...
Your notes are just indiscernible, William. What is this?
Not even the writing, just like the formatting. We were like, what?
It's just 2 words, like... I know it's just for you.
Me?
Yeah, I know. We're coming up on the climax. We were just talking about. We were talking about Mitch and his wife having an argument, and then the last scene of the date where number 12 is revealed to be Schaefer.
Which I knew it. Like,
God. So we got through a little bit without you, but not too much.
That does open up a lot. Although the next scene kind of could narrow it down again, because we still don't know who he was working for, and even though we know like this guy is his boss, we don't know who he's affiliated with. Still, we just know that hey, there's this old guy who's having a real hard time getting dates.
I mean, it is a easy thing to like. It is easy to convince me that someone's evil, and it's just to like show an old white man and just like, oh yeah, probably. So we're going scene 3, final the sort of great finale of this episode. We're going to the basement. We're looking for the Rat Queen.
Oh God.
We already talked a little bit about how big we each thought the Rat Queen would be, and we talked about your elephant-sized idea.
Oh, that'd have been so good.
I love
and just nipples all the way around.
Yeah. Just like a barrel.
Yeah, like one of those squishy toys. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, with the wire. Oh man.
And they go in, and it is just chock-up full of rats. Just a floor of rats, really.
And like a dead body. So I was like it was very hard to see, like, because the shot was so quick, the first one. So I was like, oh my God, are the rats breeding inside of this human body? Which would have been crazier. But I mean, I guess the body was put there to give like a sense of proportion to these rats.
Yeah.
Which were like some medium-sized dogs.
You were about
size.
right, about dog size, which is still terrifying.
Yeah,
and arguably be more dangerous than like either of our like.
And it made it worse because it just looked like they were in pain. Like,
not a fan. They're like hiding from the rats, which is a very funny idea.
Because you're just surrounded by it.
Like it's like no, they know you're there. Like they're around the corner from the rats, like, and then they're like, oh, we have bigger problems than like trying to kill the mother thing because there's a rat right beside them that's
then there's immediately 62 and a half rats right beside them.
They're
like nobody like, there's no way they went in there not expecting to. Like, you can't out-stealth a rat.
Right, this. We're at the point in this episode where they were outside. They could have left and come back with, like, a gas tent.
And they literally went, because they were talking about it, they're like, I think I know where they are. And Abraham's like, and as wise people, we're going to stay away from where they are, right? And he's like, nope, we're going in. And it's the basement. It's literally the basement of the building.
They've been found, and they're like freaking out, and then in comes Chloe and Officer Becky with a flamethrower, and we finally
did she kick down the door? I thought she kicked down the door.
So. She didn't need to. It was unlocked.
Yeah, it was open, but she just pa.
Which is great, and like it really pays off because I don't know if you remember this, but in previous episodes there were scenes where we were. Just told about how off-screen someone used a flamethrower on a bunch of bats.
Yes.
And this episode, we finally got to see it really happen.
You know what? I feel like fan input had a lot to do with this. Because you know that anyone who saw that immediately went to the internet. It's like, why in the hell would you just tell us you used a flamethrower on some bats instead of showing us?
Hey, show don't tell.
We're gentlemen, okay?
She flamethrowers, like, she just they're like, get in there! And she torches the whole bait, like, just burns it, like, inside and out.
And it's like the basement, so they probably just burned down the whole place anyway.
Right.
Well, you would, but it doesn't look like that's what happened, but you would. That's what would have happened.
But think of the smell.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
It would be so. I mean, it would smell like awful in there, anyways. It would be horrific in there.
Just thinking about the screaming, I kind of want to throw up.
And then cut to they're outside. There are firemen running around, and like Officer Becky's like, I'm gonna get some off-island exterminators to come in because the island ones are obviously pieces of trash.
Yeah, that didn't make like. What are you talking about, lady? How was he supposed to know?
Yeah. And Oz is like talking to her, and they're like having like a little like. He's like, I'm sorry, I left when I was 12, and she's like, well, you know, you were 12, and everyone knew that your dad had a nervous breakdown. That's why everyone called you Nervous Breakdown Boy. Just like Dead Girl. And so, yeah, he's talking to her. We're all like, you should date her. She seems really nice, although she is a cop.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with cops, except... I get too controversial, but I just think we would do better without a government.
Animal government.
Listen, this show... It's radicalizing me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm on the rat side.
Yeah,
that
was a clear representation of how a capitalist system came in and just...
The sheriff, like, walks away. We get a little insight into Jackson, like, had a bad childhood still. She walks away and she, like, hugs a guy over by a truck, which I guess means that, like...
I love her.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to date. I'm sort of, honestly, I'm kind of like, I don't think she was necessary for this episode. She just sort of ate up like 10 minutes.
They seem to do that because they make all the head honchos ladies, it seems like, as far as like the local level stuff.
Right, yeah, I guess so.
Except for in France where the head honcho was like a civic engineer for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like she said he was a civic engineer before that. Why not just make him like...
anything?
a animal like I don't know.
Well, you
A
just
mayor?
kept saying it.
Like a mayor,
Something.
head of security of some. I don't know.
Anyways, we cut to the big final scene after the real final scene was the flamethrower. Let's be honest, but this is the twist to lead into the. This is what keeps you binging. This is what keeps you like, ooh, gotta see where this went. Mitch is talking to Burke. Burke is his name, the head of Raiden.
Yes.
And he is, I know because of the captions. He's like, I wish you would just tell me your name. The like guy called you the surly one. And like, do you like that? Do you like being called the surly one? And it's like a real like,
Yeah.
She's
He's real aggressive about like, and I don't, because that's a definite power play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's definitely like, let's
like,
get your name, huh,
he
buddy?
knows his name, surely. Like, it feels like it wouldn't be that hard to figure out who this guy is with that kind of money. You could find this fucking guy.
Plus the fact that he's obviously got like some kind of credentials.
Yeah.
Or
like
else
how
he
many
have been chosen for this like Black Ops?
Although I guess he
like,
doesn't
group.
know that he's in the Black Ops group. He just
That's
knows
true.
that he has the mother.
I was just assuming because what comes after that
because they're making the trade and then through the back window.
Because all of these offices, the walls are glass as evil corporations do.
Yeah,
they're very transparent. But yeah, so he sees into the other room, and it's their boss.
It's the guy who, from the start, I think that's why they showed him at the start of the episode, because I'd forgotten what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like, here's this fucking guy, and are they working together? Is he undercover? What's going on? I think they're working together.
It doesn't explain anything. It just shows him and Mitch
lock
eyes, and their expressions kind of change. And then that's the episode. Which, oh my, that was a really good way to end it. Like, because it's just leaning into just ridiculousness.
It was, it's so exciting. I just love anytime a show shows the government and big business working together.
Because when you get down to it, government is big business.
Sharpen your guillotines. Shall we get to a good episode, right? Like that's the end.
I would give it 4 out of 5 rats.
Yeah,
I'd
say so.
I would give it. I think this is, in my mind, this is, if not the strongest, it's the second strongest. The only other episode I think I liked more maybe was the wolf one, but that was just because it was it was a purer time. We were more innocent. It was the first real animal attack.
Yeah, it was the first real decent episode, too, because up until then, it was just absolute shit. I'm sorry, people who made Zoo who are listening to this.
Who are definitely listening to this.
You got better, which is the thing, and that's what it feels like. That they're just getting better.
And hey, if you disagree with any of our points, come on the podcast.
And we'll fight you with chains.